Street Station was the Southern Railway's fourth and last Richmond area passenger station. The Southern Railway began as the 140-mile Richmond and Danville Railroad before the Civil War in 1850. Their first passenger station was at the foot of Perry and 6th Streets, at the edge of their yard, locomotive terminal, and large shop complex in the town of Manchester, just 3 blocks up the track from Hull Street Station. An active freight yard is still here. When they completed their long bridge across the James River, and the present line to West Point runs across on this same location, on the same stone piers, they built their first City of Richmond passenger station on the north bank of the river, adjacent to the south bank of the Kanawha Canal, at the foot of Virginia Street. This passenger station survived the flames of the 1865 evacuation fires and served downtown Richmond until it was finally replaced by a handsome brick and stone station, complete with clock tower, at 14th and what is now Canal Streets in 1900. This was the last unbroken railroad leading south out of Richmond at the end of the Civil War, and it was this line on which Jefferson Davis and what was left of the Confederacy's government and treasury escaped Richmond on the evening of April 2, 1865. After the war, the Richmond and Danville tied into a through line from Washington to the south when it connected at Danville with the newly extended Orange and Alexandria Railroad. All this became the Southern Railway in 1895. Because the Southern's downtown Richmond freight business was growing so rapidly in the first decade of the 20th century, they needed a much larger freight depot and offices, but they had no more land available. So they tore down the nearly new passenger depot at 14th and Canal Streets, built a larger freight terminal and offices in its place, and it's still there, the Southern Railway Tap House now, and built the present Hull Street Station in 1915. The ancient 1850 Manchester Station was thereupon closed and torn down. The manufacturing town of Manchester had incorporated as an independent city in 1876 and merged with the city of Richmond in 1910. Hull Street Station was in service from its opening in 1915 to March 1957. It was important because direct passenger, U.S. mail, and railway express service was provided from here to West Point, to Keysville, Chase City, Clarksville, and Durham, and to the larger cities of Danville, Greensboro, Charlotte, Greenville, Atlanta, Birmingham, and New Orleans, and to Winston-Salem, Asheville, Knoxville, Chattanooga, and Memphis. At the peak of the Southern's Richmond service, 6 trains each day operated from here. One of the 2 that served West Point made direct connection with overnight Chesapeake Bay steamships to and from Baltimore, with good dining, dancing, and very restful sleeping on board. And in the other direction, 4 Pullman sleeping cars provided dedicated through first-class service with morning arrivals to Danville, Charlotte, Atlanta, and Memphis. Not bad for a 140-mile branch line. The Southern Railway merged with the Norfolk and Western Railway in 1982 to become today's Norfolk Southern Railway. Hull Street Station was served by a double-track streetcar line, replaced in 1949 by buses, the same line that had served the 14th and Canal Street Station, with very frequent service out Hull Street to the city limits and to 8th and Broad Streets downtown. In 1915, everything here was segregated by law, so the new Hull Street Station originally had separate white and colored waiting rooms, toilets, and even drinking fountains. From its opening to its closing, this station handled all of the U.S. mail moving to and from the various stations along its routes. It also handled all of the express freight shipments of the kind now shipped via UPS and FedEx. Their predecessor was REA, the Railway Express Agency, created by the Federal Railway Administration in 1918 out of the previous Southern, Southeastern, Adams, and Wells Fargo Express companies. Express shipments often were enough to fill more than one dedicated express car, and the baggage allowance per passenger was 200 pounds without extra charge. This is the reason for the large size of the baggage and express freight room at Hull Street Station, now the Richmond Railway Museum's main display room. The flooring is the original thick, tight-grained heart pine, still as sound as the day it was laid down, despite the decades of abuse from steel-wheeled baggage wagons and freight trucks. General freight was not handled at this station, but instead at the Southern's Manchester and downtown Richmond freight depots. The Richmond Freight Station was, and the building still is, at 14th and Canal Streets. Southern Railway's Richmond passenger service ended in March 1957. There still was enough business travel demand to keep the sleeping car service to Charlotte in operation to the very end, but not enough overall passenger business to support passenger trains on the line to Danville. With their ending, the U.S. Mail and Railway Express service also ended abruptly. Hull Street Station shut down immediately. The Southern Railway merged with the Norfolk and Western Railway in 1982 to become today's Norfolk Southern Railway. The Norfolk Southern donated their long vacant station to the Old Dominion chapter of the National Railway Historical Society in 1982, and we began the long process of applying for grant money to restore the station. It had been flooded some 13 times in the past. The worst was from Hurricane Agnes in 1972, when the water was up nearly to the roof eaves, and needed major work to repair the damage and modernize all of its systems and facilities. We couldn't get grant money approved until the Richmond Floodwall project was completed in 1994. Along the way, the building was declared a historic landmark. Restoration work was finally completed in 2011, and we were able to open this museum to the public in November. Work on the various exhibits continues to this day, as fast as your donations and our volunteer manpower allow. Through the efforts of many, Hull Street Station today serves as a unique window into Richmond's passenger railway heritage.